Ukraine needs so much of NATO's help and the United States is serious about giving security assistance to Ukraine, then why is it that till now Ukraine has not received NATO membership? Have you ever thought about it? Ukraine's public is in full support of NATO. In fact, the public is in full support of whatever the European Union and the United States have to throw at Ukraine. Then why is it that till now Ukraine has not received European Union's membership as well as NATO membership? Of course, Ukraine is part of DCFTA agreement, which is trade related. I'm talking about the actual European Union membership as well as NATO membership. And the answer to that question is not with Ukraine. You have to ask European Union and the United States. If they have so much concern about Ukraine, the first thing they should have done is give them membership and deploy all NATO's resources across the Ukrainian border against Russia. European Union and the United States will not do that. Now I want you to pay attention to this. Because if you give Ukraine the European Union membership, then there will be a large-scale migration from Ukraine to other parts of Europe. People are innocent. They will migrate for a better life, better economic opportunities. European Union doesn't want that. Now coming to NATO membership, there is very little support within NATO for granting Ukraine membership. Why? Because the United States and European Union knows that Russia is already inside Ukraine. The moment they grant NATO membership, they have no other option but to interfere and deploy their troops as a NATO ally and wage a full-scale war against Russia. Just now America got out of Afghanistan. Do you think the United States will take the risk of sending its own troops to Ukraine and fight the Russians? And even if United States decides to do that, what reason will they give? Oh, it's time to protect Ukraine, their citizens' freedom of right from Russian cruelty. If they give this as the reason, then what were you doing for the past 8 years? So Russia is openly saying, conduct elections and give autonomy to the Donbas region. Russians are talking about the elections, which is a symbol of democracy. How can the United States take all of the NATO forces and attack Russia? So even United States and NATO countries are aware of this situation. That is why they are not in a hurry to give Ukraine NATO membership. Ukraine and Russia cannot agree on autonomy for the Donbas region because they fundamentally disagree on the provisions. So the only way is that someone has to bend. Now the question is who will do it? If Ukraine bends, then it understands the risk of another civil unrest just like the Euromaidan movement. So it will not accept any concessions to Russia. Russia will also not move back because it will do everything to secure its interests. After all, it's the West against Russia alone. That will create a powerful narrative for Russia. And it is happening. Many countries are supporting Russia. And Russia also very well knows as long as Ukraine has United States and European Union support, Russia will not let go its leverage over Ukraine. So right now the West is collectively thinking how to neutralize Russia's leverage over Ukraine as well as Europe. Because Russia also supplies energy in the form of natural gas to Europe. That is why you must have heard that the United States has threatened Russia to stall Nord Stream 2, the multi-billion-dollar natural gas pipeline project between Russia and Europe, if Russia invades Ukraine. So this is the kind of leverage I'm talking about. The West is collectively thinking about how to neutralize Russia's leverage over Ukraine as well as Europe. Europe remains one of Russia's largest natural gas markets. And you very much know that if the United States is good at one thing, that would be putting sanctions. And that is why the United States is threatening Russia that it will put sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. However, before placing sanctions on the export of natural gas from Russia to Europe, the European Union countries will also need to look for alternate exporters. And even if America still decides to put sanction on Nord Stream 2 pipeline, then it will also negatively impact 5 major European energy companies that have a major stake in the pipeline, including ENGIE, OMV, Shell, Uniper, and Wintershall Dea. And by the way, you also must be aware that Russia supplies natural gas to Ukraine as well. In fact, the majority of the gas that is supplied to the European market is supplied through pipelines that travel across Ukrainian soil. And look at the twist. A few days back, Ukraine had accused the United States of hurting its economy by raising tensions with Russia. The way United States President Joe Biden was talking about Russia, warning Russia, giving threats, it seems in Ukraine it was creating panic in the Ukrainian financial market. Because it is straightforward. If the Russia-Ukraine crisis escalates, then gas prices in Europe will increase. And all those industries in Europe which are dependent on Russian gas, the cost of expenditure will increase. And that is going to soon affect the European financial market. All foreign investors will withdraw from European market. The European economy is going to be badly hit. Why do you think Germany, Croatia, France are staying out of this crisis? They are not keen in escalating this issue as much as the United States is doing. The US and some EU nations have sent military support to Ukraine. Germany has offered only medical aid. And if you remember, Germany's Navy chief resigned because he praised the Russian president and said, Vladimir Putin deserves respect. Why did he say that? Why is Germany not participating actively against Russia? Because Germany is aware of how this crisis is going to affect the European financial market. They don't want to pick up a fight with Russia. And even Germany's economy in the form of energy sector is linked with the Russian gas pipeline, which is why Germany is adopting a softer approach. And by the way, Germany's Navy chief resigned because he made a controversial remark on the crisis in Ukraine. He said, if Russia wanted to invade Ukraine, it would have done it long back. And then he also added that Vladimir Putin deserves respect. For this comment, he lost his job. But anyhow, there is some truth in his statement. If Russia wanted to invade the eastern region of Ukraine, it would have done it long back. For 8 years, Russia held on to this region. Why? Simply because Russia does not want the United States and European Union's involvement in Ukraine. That is why you will see that only the United States is talking too much. No other country is talking as much as the United States. If United States decides to put sanctions on Russia, that is really going to test the ability of the Western powers to use sanctions against Russian power. The United States is just creating a narrative by creating a hype that Russia will invade Ukraine. They want to look good in front of the world. They want to say that we will save you from Russia in the name of human rights, democracy, women's rights. Can you imagine that? The US used women's rights to help justify the invasion of Afghanistan. Can you imagine that? How bizarre is that? United States has gone completely woke in recent years. If Russia had to invade Ukraine, it would have done it long back. A good example is the Crimean Peninsula. If the United States decides to put sanction on Russia because of a hyped issue, since they have nothing else to do, then Europe has to face the consequences of those sanctions.